AI, what people say, it's a time saver, and that is both a good and potentially a bad thing. So, Chris, you using AI, how much time does it really save you in your day-to-day, and what are the costs and benefits of costs and analysis and benefits of all of that?
Yeah, I mean, they always say they only make so many hours in a day, which is true. And I've run into advisors working 10, 12-hour days, and, I'm like, what are you guys doing? What I look for it as, like I said, from a marketing standpoint, if it can save me a half an hour, 45 minutes writing a proposal or writing a marketing piece or back testing, an investment model, you add up 15 minutes here, half an hour there, you're getting back 3-4 hours a week at least is what you're doing. And I think that's why, the financial services industry is looking at it, because if we have a small team at our shop, there's 3 of us. We're managing just over $100 million. I believe that without adding any additional, I hate to say this, human bodies, it would be very easy to, easily manage 200, 250, 300 million as a small practice. And again, it's because AI, like Tim said, it's kind of getting integrated in every aspect out there, whether it's marketing, client services, portfolio management. Just that extra, 15 minutes to a half an hour a day, really adds up as far as an advisor goes.
Well, we definitely, sorry.
No, go ahead, Tim, please.
Just to jump on that, I think, at least from our perspective, kind of building tools for advisors at QDEC, we think of it as extending your capabilities. Like, where can we save you time, or where can we take a process that would normally be tedious, or that would normally require like learning how to use a specialized tool? How can we take that and make it something where you can come to a brand new experience, use it on the first time, and get a good result, and really make it so that as the advisor, your skills in interacting with your clients and analyzing their situation and knowing what's right for their portfolio and helping them, you can extend that to more clients and to use that to grow your business.
Right. Well, and just to add on what Tim said, so one of the things that takes up a lot of my time is we all have retail clients, and they all watch financial news, and they'll call in about, hey, I just saw XYZ stock. Well, we took CNBC on the TV out of our office probably 8 years ago. We don't miss it. But again, you got somebody like, hey, what about XYZ stock? And I'm, I full disclosure, I've worked with the QDEC team. And what I'm very excited about is that, that query function, like, what's going on with Johnson & Johnson today? Why is it up $3? And all of a sudden you see this whole list of, you're like, hey, Mrs. Smith, here's what's happening with Johnson & Johnson today. I mean, it makes you look a lot smarter, but again, it's a tool. So rather than me saying, let me call you and get back, I can be like, hey, here's what, what's happening with it, today. I think that is probably the most understated, and to me, one of the most valuable aspects of what's going to be happening with, AI.
Right, it undeniably saves time, but that could mean also you could take on more clients. But if you got to take on more clients, it means you could also hire more agents. So, Chris, you say you're a team of 1 to 3, right? If one person can do 40 hours of work in half the time, correct me on my math here, but it means 2 people could do even more, or 3 people could do even more. And if you're saving money, that's easier to hire more people. Or if someone is like looking to start out, they can use RIAs, use these tools to kind of launch their own business and try to get ahead of some people who might not be technologically savvy. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here. So Brad, kind of just expand on that a little bit. Like, with all the time and money it saves, it's easier to scale, or does it mean it's easier to cut back? And which should RIAs be focusing on?
Well, everybody's about growth. I mean, I was going to pipe in when Chris was talking, and obviously growing takes work too. And part of that is communication and having a constant communication. You're out there, name recognition. And the biggest thing we've used it for is idea generation. So I've given some talks at different conferences this year. And what I'll normally do is say, okay, here's my talk. It's on alternatives. It's on this or something relevant in the news. I'll come up with some ideas, and then I'll put it through QDEC or ChatGPT and come up with additional ideas and kind of help me formulate what I'm trying to do. And it cuts down my time in half for sure. And that's the part that I'm really excited about. And the other thing that we talk about is everybody's so busy. We have, I think, 18 advisors that work for us, and having them come up with ideas to have talks about or writing papers or is really a challenge, right? They're like Chris is saying, everybody's already working 50 hours a week. Do they really want to come up with a paper that we want to do a white paper on or this subject? We try to give them ideas and they just don't even think about it. So that idea generation is so helpful, helps you formulate it, and you can send it to them and say, hey, here's a rough copy of an idea. They instantly go in there. It's so much easier to edit than it is to come up with that original idea. And ChatGPT or QDeck does a phenomenal job. And we can talk about, maybe Tim wants to talk about that difference between coming up with that idea generation in a ChatGPT versus the QDeck and what those differences are. And I think that's incredibly important.